Gen X was left alone to figure everything out. And now, they're somehow parenting in two completely opposite directions at once. You came home to an empty house, let yourself in, and learned early nobody was coming to rescue you. You made your own meals, your own decisions, and somehow, you survived every single time. Between 1970 and 1990, the share of working mothers nearly doubled, and Gen X felt every bit of that shift. Researchers call them the least nurtured, least parented generation in modern American history, and they wore it quietly. When something broke, there was no one to call. You figured it out yourself, and that became your superpower. No parent called to school to sort out your drama. You sat with it, dealt with it, and moved on. Independence was real, but so was the loneliness. Gen X learned to hold both at the same time. And then one day, the same kid who raised themselves became someone else's parent. They promised themselves, I won't hover. I'll give them space. And then the internal war began. Every parenting decision pulls up a memory of the empty house, the silence, the kid who just had to cope. Most of the time, the Gen X parent is relaxed, hands off, letting life happen, watching from a calm distance. But when something truly matters, they go in like a superhero. No warning, full force, every single time. Psychologist Diana Baumrind identified 4 parenting styles. One of them, authoritative, consistently produces the best outcomes. Responsiveness means warmth, being emotionally available, showing your child I see you and you are safe here. Demandingness means holding a clear line, real expectations, real consequences, because love without structure isn't enough. Authoritative parenting lives right in the middle, high warmth and high expectations, balanced in equal measure. It sounds like this: I love you completely, and you still face the consequences of what you chose. Research shows these kids develop higher self-esteem, stronger problem-solving, better grades, and deeper friendships. Gen X graduated into recession, student debt, and a job market that had no interest in being fair. The pension plan evaporated. Job security became a joke. Gen X adapted because adapting was all they knew. So they raised their kids knowing the system won't always protect you. You need to be strong enough to protect yourself. And then social media arrived, and Gen X became the very first generation raising children inside it, with no roadmap. They grew up in a world where childhood was private. No cameras, no audience, just kids being kids, unseen. Now everything is public, compared, and rated. Gen X watches this, and something deep inside them resists. They'll post their kids' achievement, cringe, and delete it. This culture never quite felt like theirs. Squeezed between aging parents and demanding teenagers, Gen X carries more than most generations ever had to. On one side, aging parents who need patience, presence, and care. And Gen X shows up quietly every time. On the other side, a career that stopped climbing, in a world that changed faster than anyone planned for. And in between all of that, bills, mortgages, and a financial tightrope walked every single month. Boomer parents look over and say, you're coddling them. We left you alone, and you turned out fine. Their Gen Z kids look up and say, you're too strict. You just don't understand what we're dealing with. And Gen X stand in the middle, endlessly translating between two generations who can't hear each other. So they sort through what they inherited, keeping resilience, keeping independence, and setting aside the loneliness. Then they add what was missing from their own childhood, real emotional warmth, the kind they always needed. They don't parent by trends or Instagram standards or what the parenting books say this week. Their compass is internal, built from memory, calibrated by everything they lived through and felt and survived. They watch their teenager make the same mistake twice, and they don't intervene, because that's how you actually learn. But at 2 a.m., when everything falls apart, the light is on, the doors open, and they are there. No lecture, no judgment, just a parent who listens completely and holds a space for whatever needs to come out. They remember the world before the internet, and that memory gives them something most parents today simply don't have. Boredom was normal. Boredom was where creativity lived. Gen X learned to build entire worlds from absolutely nothing. So when they limit screen time, it's not fear driving it. It's lived experience. They know what's on the other side. They use technology fluently, but they never stop asking the question, what is this actually costing us? At every over-involved parent event, the Gen X parent quietly steps back present, but not performing. The goal isn't a dependent child. The goal is a child who walks away confident, knowing someone has their back. We got your back completely. But this challenge right here, that one is yours to carry. There's no perfect philosophy. Gen X knows this. So they cross out the rules and write their own in the margins. They break what hurt them. They preserve what built them. And that's the quiet, daily work of conscious parenting. Gen X never fit in a box. Not as kids, not as adults, and definitely not as parents. And that is exactly the point.